Good day, good people. It's your girl, Kia Croom, the nonprofit fundraising badass herself, your favorite fundraiser, colleague, founder and host of the Black Fundraisers Podcast, your weekly podcast that celebrates, inspires, and equips Black fundraisers to positively impact Black communities. I hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving. I hope that end of year is going well. You're getting your proposals out. You're getting your direct response appeals out. Well, that appeal should have been in home by now. We're close to getting in home. If you know, like I know, I just hope that everything is going well as we are past the home stretch, right? Sending you positive vibes and warm hugs. And I hope that this holiday season is everything you hoped. And I hope that it affords you an opportunity to rest, right? Rest is resilience. So embrace the ministry of rest, good people. I want to thank you, as always, for listening. I know that you've got a bastion of podcast options out here in these internet streets. So I appreciate you tuning in and checking me out here. And I encourage you to visit my website, www.kiacroom.com, to see what a sister has been up to in the nonprofit and philanthropy world. And stay tuned, because I've got some exciting new info for you in January. So stay tuned. The sister's going to be dropping bombs, new announcements, new partnerships. But first, y'all, I want to tell you about my special guest today. She is so dope. Love her. Her name is Shelia Phillips. She is the CEO of SMP Nonprofit Consulting. She is a grant writer extraordinaire. You're going to absolutely love her. You're going to love her energy. Oh, and she's bearing gifts. She actually brought some digital gifts, right? A trial period subscription for you to sign on to Instrumental, which is a really, really great prospect research tool, listen to me, that you might consider checking out to aid you in your grant and foundation prospecting and even corporate. So check that out. She's got a freebie and some other cool stuff as a stocking stuffer for you, because I got your back and she's got your back too. So without further ado, allow me to bring Shelia Phillips to the Black Fundraisers Podcast stage. Stand by, good people. Shelia, welcome to the Black Fundraisers Podcast.
Thank you for having me. I'm super excited to be here, Kia, and thank you so much for trusting me with your platform. You are doing an amazing job in just building our capacity and just our confidence and our strength in this field. So I'm super excited to be here with you today.
No, I'm happy to have you on here, and I know the good people listening will really enjoy this conversation because there's a lot of fundraisers, there's a lot of aspiring fundraisers, there's a lot of grant writers and freelancers. So without further ado, I want to get right into it. I'd love for you to tell the good people listening a fun and little known fact about yourself and your story. You know, how this all got started, how you found yourself as a burgeoning entrepreneur with this wonderful firm you've built over the last couple of years.
Yes. So for the folks who do not know me, my name is Shelia Phillips, aka the Grant Writing Coach. I have the privilege of helping nonprofits all across the country win their first or next grant. Through my firm, SMP Nonprofit Consulting, we've secured more than $3 million in grants and other sustainable fundraising strategies over the past few years. I've been full-time since 2021. So Super excited. We're coming on year 2, y'all. It hasn't been easy. It's been a journey to say the least, but I'm so grateful for the journey and just how much I have grown as an individual and as a nonprofit pro and entrepreneur. And I would say, I guess my fun fact about me is that the only way I can handle all that's going on in my world is that I love Marvel movies. It's my brain break. It's my way to just kind of disconnect for a moment. And actually, my niece and I are watching all of the movies in order to get ready for Black Panther. So y'all, keep us lifted, because you know how long those Marvel movies can be. That's at least at least a week, and we got to take breaks. So that's the way that I just come back to that, that inner child, that real relaxed mode, is to watch Marvel movies. And how I got started in this, y'all, I had no clue I was going to be a grant writer. I'm a biologist by trade. My degree is in biomedical sciences. And when I went to grad school for public health, we had to partner with a local nonprofit to basically just utilize our skill sets to help increase their capacity in our interests at that time. So I wanted to be like a community health educator. I wanted to, I had just these grand dreams of reducing infant mortality in St. Louis City. Ended up working at a local Boys and Girls Club. And one day my old boss said, "Hey, Shelia, we need someone to write this grant. We got a special event, and we're pretty tight. You know how it is in nonprofits, like things can just go haywire really quickly." And deadlines, they're relentless. So they figured, let's put the intern on the grant. And I remember walking to the bathroom and having, I had a meltdown. I had that silent scream where you don't want other people to hear you, but you can hear yourself. Okay, let's, we can do this. Came out feeling like a little bit like a superhero, still nervous. We didn't get that first grant, but the second one that I wrote all by myself actually was a 6-figure grant, and it wrote me into that role full time. So it's funny how life will throw you into things, baptism by fire. And we'll talk a little bit about this today, that every grant that you write, every process that you go through is an opportunity for learning, and you never know where it'll lead you. You might end up having your own grant writing firm one day. So yeah, just keep at it, y'all.
Yeah, that's a mighty testimony now, Shelia. That's a mighty, I'm silly, but I'm serious. That's a mighty testimony. And you said baptized by fire. You better come on now.
All the way. I'm surprised.
Baptist on the side of the screen here. Don't play.
Yeah. Look, I'm surprised I still have edges, because that was rough. But
it snatched your edges a little bit.
It snatched my edges, but it turned me into the individual that I am today, and learning how to just really show up authentically in this space. As a Black woman, as a millennial Black woman, you don't typically see us in the grants professionals field. So I'm just grateful that God saw fit to put me in this role, and to also share that testimony with others, to let them know they can do it too.
Absolutely. That is a beautiful testimony. I love that. And I love that you love Marvel. So you gonna hit that Disney Plus up is what
we got Disney Plus. You know it.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you a quick story.
Yes.
My son is all about Marvel. I mean, he is 18. Well, he will be 18 in just a few weeks. I can't believe I'm gonna have an 18-year-old.
But anyway. Either.
Oh yes. Look. Yes, 18-year-old. Yes, he is all about it. So we, to this end, would, as part of like our quality time together, we would watch Marvel movies together, right? Like we watched The Mandolin, and I enjoyed that. But his mother is not. I'm not a movie maven.
Okay,
I like to talk. So I'm not a person that really enjoys going to the movies, because I want to talk to you. I want to, and I'm one of those Black people that talks to, and I'll be like, here she about to go in here and get her edges.
Yeah, you want some commentary.
Go through the door. And like,
I'm
saying exactly what I'm like. See, now here we go. It's the first few minutes of the the film and the Black person got to be the one to get killed. You know, I'm like, here we go, right? Here we go.
Yeah,
So,
you want the commentary.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. I have too much commentary to be inside somebody's movie theater.
I
I just
understand.
know I don't mean
understand.
good people. I don't mean no harm.
And Marvel folks, I think I just have a little bit more grace because, like you said, that's just us as Black women. We got to say something, But the Marvel crowd as a whole, you got to do the shh. You got to stay to the end of the movie.
They're not here for it. Y'all are not here.
You got to be quiet. You got to respect, just respect the culture. So I'll go to the movies every once in a while, but I'm mostly, I'll go to the movies to see Black Panther because that's one of my favorites out of the franchise. But for the rest, outside of maybe Avengers 2, I'm going to watch on streaming because I'm like you. I need to pause. I need to get up because
gotta take it in.
Gotta take it in.
Yeah, I get put out of the movie theater. Listen, but I did enjoy, even though I don't be knowing what's going on. I don't know how all the movies come together. My son does. So what he does is as we're watching something, he'll pause it and he'll explain, right?
Come on.
He explains. My son is a Sag. He is an ultra patient. It's like God knew who just to give me when he gave me, because he knows how to deal with his mama.
Yes, he did. Yes,
he know how to get over on his mama too, but we ain't gonna talk about that. But he explains to me, and I really enjoyed the one about the Infinity Stones. Which one was that? The Infinity?
It was the
Avengers.
Yeah. Well, not the first one. It was a few afters with Thanos, and when he started gathering all the Infinity Stones. That stressed me out. I'm just telling you, that whole...
It was a little stressful. That one was, but I really got into that one. That Joker was about 3 hours. It took us 3 nights to watch it because I was like, look, Mama's sleepy.
Yeah.
Well, I got to go on to bed, but it was good though.
Good.
But good stuff. So Shelia, while I have all of this brain trust and this beauty and knowledge on this screen with me.
Thank you.
I want to take advantage. So for the good people listening that are looking to get the skinny on tactical strategies they should consider to get their grant applications or proposals funded. Okay, the word of the day is funded.
Yes, fully funded.
Fully funded. I'd love for you to share a few of your best practices.
Thank you so much, Kia. So I just want to give a disclaimer over the next few minutes for the good people in the room. Make sure that you have your pen and your notepads ready because for the next, I'll say 10 minutes, I am going to be your personal grant writing coach to get you fully funded in 2023. And if this lands before 2022, let's just keep it moving and you can implement these strategies today. Okay.
Yes.
So let's get started. The number one piece of advice, gem of wisdom, and just tactical strategy that I recommend for all nonprofits, whether they are new or more established, is to make sure that they're grant ready. Contrary to popular belief, having your 501c3 is not the end all and be all for winning grants. And if this is a new term for the folks in the room, grant readiness is just the capacity that your organization has to find, write, win, and manage grant awards. On Facebook a couple of weeks ago in a consultants group, and I really love how one of my colleagues put it, if grant readiness makes sure that you're not trying to build the second floor of the house before you've ever laid down a foundation. So I want you all to really think about the big picture of writing grants, not just necessarily putting pen to paper or putting something in black and white, but grant readiness helps you understand the fundamentals of winning grants. So do you have an active board? Do you have all of your paperwork, reports, or audits in place? Do you have a budget in place? Do you have a fundable program, which we'll talk about in a minute, in place so that you have a lot of what I call positive and just fundamental strategies to win grants versus this wishful thinking or having a lack of strategy, especially if you're a newer nonprofit. So number one, y'all, make sure that you're grant ready. Do not try and build the second floor, AKA win grants, before you have a foundation set.
Wait, as they say in the church, Get your house in order.
Get your house
Get
in
your
order.
house in order.
Get your house in order. And if you don't have your house in order, I highly recommend, there's a couple ways you can do this. Of course, you can do your own research, but reach out to a professional. If they are a ethical and experienced grants professional, they know how to navigate you from point A to point B. So invest in grant readiness. It will save you a lot of time and money later on, as long as you make this investment in the front end. And if you find yourself, hey, Shelia, we're grant ready, but we're missing maybe a few elements. Maybe it's your narrative. Maybe it's articulating your story to funders. Again, there are so many things that you can do, whether with the help of a professional or maybe investing in some type of cohort to help you develop this so that you can be ready for next year.
I love that.
Thank you. Thank you. And then number 2, I would encourage nonprofits to just have a fundable program or project. So in order to win grants, Kia, you and I both know that grant makers want you to have a concrete service program or project that's going to have long-term sustainable impact. Okay. And I am going to walk y'all through what I call the 5 benchmarks of a fundable program. I came ready today. I came ready to teach.
Hey, we ready.
Okay. I came ready to teach. So the 5 benchmarks of a fundable program, starting off, your offering must be community centric. And what I mean by that is that your project was created for and informed by the community that you serve. So it's nothing for us without us. Like, we all know that, right? There's nothing for us without us. So take time to deeply get to know the community that you serve, whether that's through focus groups, whether that's through your own research, whether that's through interviews, so that you can know from them directly what they need and how they see change being possible in their community, okay? Number 2, you want to make sure that it's factual. So along with being community centric, you want to have a program that's based in evidence and a documented community need. I feel that a lot of organizations tend to skip this because they want to pull at heartstrings, but you have to understand, especially when it comes to grants, it's a mix of heartstrings, somewhat maybe for foundations, but it's a lot of data that you have to use in that need statement to compel others to invest in your organization. Okay. So number 2, factual, y'all.
And I just want to say, Shelia, that is really that is a real big part of this. Yeah. And my experience early on in this was, I think I really looked at that as like, I got to do the research and I got to do, it was really just one of those things that, and I'm saying things because I can't think of another word to say, it was a task, right? Yes. But I had to really change my thinking about that over the years. Because this was an opportunity, I'm testifying, this was an opportunity to really speak from a place of, you know what, this isn't just kind of, myopic kind of an issue, whether we're talking about community hunger, community, think about it. Poverty is at the root of so many issues in our communities. And I talk about poverty as a thief. So this was an opportunity for me to talk about just how nefarious poverty is, in that it's intergenerational. It was intergenerational in my family. It damn near robbed me of being the Kia that you see before you, but God, right? But God, I'm testifying. But what I'm saying is, what I used to look as kind of more one of the onerous parts of the grant, it's really such a vital part, and how you really line your AR-15 to say, look, this is a problem, and this is how and why I'm uniquely positioned to address this problem. I need the tambourine, don't I?
You need the tambourine.
I need to grab Lucille because I'll go there.
Go get Lucille, because you said something that I've been preaching for the last year. Please, nonprofits, we want you all to know that this is an opportunity to not only talk about the barriers, but to also talk about the strengths, community that you serve, and the work that you do. It's not all doom and gloom. Okay. It's about telling funders, why you're uniquely positioned to do this work. And then even further than that, for the people that you serve, they're not all down and out. They have
No.
unique strengths that makes the
Asset.
relationship possible. So you all are operating in synergy. One quick piece of advice, and this is something that we implement in our grants. So I not only do I coach, but I'm still doing direct writing on behalf of our clients. I ask them, what are the key strengths that you have as an organization? And they can always run those off. But when it comes to community strengths, what are those strengths and just positives that they bring to the table? Is it resilience? Is it their ability to come together as a community? Because we know that that's still a strength in 2022. Is it their ability to garner their own resources? And maybe this is a way for funders to partner alongside them with this. So making sure that it's not all doom and gloom, which I think lends to it being such a negative when it comes to grants, or such a pull. Also approach it with paragraph or two of the positives, and you really hit the nail on that.
Absolutely. I'm gonna have to get Lucille in a minute now.
Lucille,
I'm gonna get. Wait a minute! Don't play! Don't play!
I know that one of my purposes in this space, in this season, is to really give folks the realistic and the nitty gritty of grants, not just what we've seen in books, not what just what we've seen typically, but here's the real. It's the art and the science. I can tell you the science. Here's how you complete a need statement. But the art of it is, from my own experience, from my wisdom, from my expertise, this is how you make this great. Okay. And alongside that, when we talk about community needs and we talk about strengths, I want nonprofits to know that your projects need to be actionable. So with all of this research that you've done, with all of this taking inventory of your strengths, make sure that the work that you're going to do that address those needs have the tactical ability to be done. Okay, I want to shout out one of my sisters in the work, Maya Crane. I was talking to her one day at Crane Solutions, and I was like, sis, I'm having a hard time articulating just my vision for the business. And we were actually talking about business. And she said, Shelia, I tell you, like I tell my nonprofit clients, think big, but start small. And when you think big, of course, we have these grand visions for change. But when you start small, that's where that tactical ability tends to show up. And it lets you know that this work can be done. So make sure that it's realistic and feasible. Okay. And that was benchmark number 3, y'all. Sorry, I know we got on the tangent, but we still here.
Still rolling. Listen, we're agile on the Black Fundraisers Podcast, and you got to be agile in this work.
Yes, you have to be agile. And for number 4, I want nonprofits to know that your work should be financially viable. So can you generate sufficient income that's not just grants? We're talking about individuals, your board, in-kind, peer giving, all of those platforms and different strategies to consistently cover your project expenses. And not only that, can give you a little bit left over to get back into overhead. Okay.
Wait a minute. In other words, you're not robbing Peter to pay Paul.
You went there.
I had to get Lucille.
You went there. Yes. Make sure that you all are not robbing Peter to pay Paul, because what that does, it may cover you short term, but when it comes to sustainable work, not only just for the project, but for your organization as a whole, you're going to burn out very quickly. So make sure that you all actually take some time to create your budgets in a realistic budget, not just based off of your own dream, but like I said, start small to cover your projects, and then make sure that your organization is still running. Okay. Make sure the lights are on, or make sure that your people still have what they need. Okay. So sufficient income, y'all. And if you need just ideas on how to cultivate a diverse fundraising strategy, reach out to a professional. There's so many people that I know within my network, folks within my firm that help out with that. And there's so much free information. Social media allows you to get the basics down so that you can make quick changes just from a social media post. So, reach out for help, basically. And then our 5th and final benchmark, make sure that your project is accessible. And that may be a new term for folks, but that's my way of saying your project has the necessary components in place to be evaluated for effectiveness.
Yes.
So when we do the work, we tend to forget, we need to evaluate if we were really effective. Did we create change in our community? Was there a change in knowledge, attitudes, or beliefs? Was there any type of policy shift or change? Was there any additional partnerships? Things of that nature that show impact and show the positive results of your work are extremely important when it comes to winning grants. So, real quick, y'all, 5 benchmarks of a fundable program. It's community centric, nothing for us without us. Number 2, it's factual. So you have a project that's based in evidence and documented community needs. It's actionable, meaning that you have the tactical ability to do the work that you plan. It's financially viable, meaning you're not robbing Peter to pay Paul. And it's accessible, meaning that you have all of the necessary ingredients for evaluation success to see for effectiveness. Okay.
Yes, good stuff. I hope you had that pen and you just hit rewind on this one, people. You can hit rewind.
Hit rewind.
You want this information. This is good stuff coming from someone who has achieved some really significant gains, even in, I mean, we're talking, you shared with me, this is since 2021.
Yeah.
I mean, come on now, so this is good stuff, good people listening. So Shelia, for the good people listening who have applied successfully. Okay, you got told no, you got told, no, you might have got told, heck no, you got told no, right? Yeah. And I feel that pain. I've been there. Ooh, and I'm gonna tell y'all a secret, good people. I used to get upset about it. It used to really, really bother me. See, I'm not going to testify right here. I'm going to let you tell the good people listening. Okay. But I'm going to say it used to really, really bother me. So, and I'm just going to share, I've been there. And I know how frustrating it could be. Yeah. What guidance and moral support can you offer to good people listening who are frustrated, or as one of my aunts used to say, frustrated? Okay. By that. Yeah. So for the good people in the room, first and foremost, I want to let you know that I see you. And I want to tell you that not every loss is a loss. Okay. Although grant declinations can sting, and I've had a number throughout my career. Okay. A number of them. I've learned that one, it's not my personal responsibility for a decision. And then number 2, it's always an opportunity for learning. So when I talk about it's not my responsibility, the outcome is not my responsibility, I used to take the no so personal, kid. Just to be honest with you. Okay. Like I used to take them personal, especially when I first started out. I used to be like, oh my God, I'm a bad writer. I'm gonna get fired. Like all of these things in my head. And one day I was listening to Dr. Bev Browning, and for the folks in the room who aren't familiar with Dr. Bev Browning, she is like the GOAT of grant writing, the Michael GOAT. Grant writing. I've heard about that, sister.
Yes. And she's just such a sweet spirit. She was talking to me one day because the pandemic really connected a lot of folks. And I thank God that I went from being a student in one of her professional development courses to having a one-on-one with her. And she said, Shelia, your responsibility is not to make the funders make a decision right or left. It's to create a compelling, concise, and compliant proposal. And Kia, when I tell you that freed me,
you were liberated.
I was liberated because sometimes I think as grant professionals, we try to commit to too much locus of control when it's just our job to provide a service and to put together a product. Okay. So my first piece of advice, free yourself from that personal responsibility. And it's okay. And it's totally normal to get some no's. My piece of advice to benefit you as an organization is that every grant that doesn't get approved provides you an opportunity to 1, get feedback on what you can do better next time. 2, see who the funder can connect you to widen your network. And then 3, guess what? Try and try and try again. Okay. So once we get past that initial shock, because we're human, right? No's just rejection hurts. Regardless of what professionally, personally, rejection hurts. But once we start looking through the lens of what can I learn from this, you might find not only will this funder be your biggest advocate in the future, meaning it's just a not right now, but they also have people that they know and can connect you with who are interested in funding your work. Okay. And then the more grants that I write, y'all, regardless if they're funded or not, they just get better. And I don't know about you, Kia, but I don't like reinventing the wheel every time. So I repurpose every grant application for my clients. They already know we got a standard set of language that we use, and we'll, it's all, I don't want to say it's all testing, because it's, it's a put together product, but every time we get a decision or we get some feedback, whether positive or has an opportunity for development, we update that language so our applications get stronger. So y'all just use it, flip it on its head. We talking a lot about perspective shifts here. Flip the rejection on its head and use it to your advantage.
Yes, and I will say this. I'm being honest, used to take those no's really personal. And I'm going to tell you why I took those no's. And I'm not justifying it, but it'll make sense. When I was working at the Greater Richmond Interfaith Program, for instance, in Richmond, California, a city in the San Francisco Bay Area, for those that do not know where it is. And the Greater Richmond Interfaith Program is a lifeline for people in West Contra Costa County, particularly people who are unhoused, right? People who are food insecure, families, women and children, right? Chronically, I don't know if it's still a thing or in the continuum of care or the homeless services community. There was this subpopulation of homeless community members called chronically homeless, or people with co-occurring mental illness and comorbidities, etc. When I received a no, because my office, I didn't have an office that was aloof of the program beneficiaries. My office was at the shelter and the super center where the soup kitchen existed. And I would see individuals lined up every day before the door would open to provide meals. And I would see children coming down from the transitional housing program or the emergency shelter, children, little kids like my son at the time, little boys and girls, when the holidays would come and I'd be out purchasing Christmas gifts for my son and thinking about the kids in the emergency shelter program. And I coordinated all kinds of resources so that those babies had Christmas gifts, things that they wanted, not just things that people wanted them to have, but their wildest dreams, despite the fact that they were housing insecure, right? So those no's really hit home. But I took every opportunity, every no, as an opportunity to get that reflective feedback from that funder, right? And I'm going to tell you, I can't even count how many no's were really not no's, but they were just not right now.
Come on.
And sometimes it didn't have anything to do with, many a times it didn't have anything to do with the technical aspects of my proposal. It might have been some political terrain going on inside of that funder's office, or some people that didn't necessarily see, didn't necessarily have the right set of lenses and there were structural barriers, right, that were preventing that philanthropy from funding an organization that I was working for. It's all kinds of things that can sometimes result in those no's. And I'm glad that we are now in a space in philanthropy where we're talking about things like philanthropic injustice and unconscious bias, and how some of the program officers and such that are in some of these spaces don't necessarily speak the language or have the values aligned with the community-based organizations those philanthropies are serving. So it could be any number of things. But I was not abashed about saying, listen, I would like to know more. Give me some reflective feedback.
There you go. And
I needed that reflective feedback.
And I want the folks to know in the room, and I'm just going to make this point really quickly. When you have that personal connection with the work that you do,
Yes.
it makes you more susceptible to it. But what I also want you all to think about, for every no, keep the faith, because
That's
if you
right.
miss one, I think it was Gucci Mane. He said, if you miss one, the next
The
15, another
next one
one.
coming.
Okay, is one coming. So for
Miss one,
it's
next
always
15, one coming.
coming.
Yes.
It's always some RFP that you can try and try and try again. And the more that you do it, the more, like you said, Kia, I don't even remember how many no's I got, because I did the work and I just kept the faith. What I'm hearing you say, I kept the faith that they're going to have what they need. So y'all just keep trying. Not every loss is a loss. And although it may seem very personal, just understand that there's so many factors outside of your control that contribute to a board decision.
Wait, I'm going to pause. So Shelia, you've got the prototype, the brain trust. I would like for you to take a minute and talk about some of the tools that you're using, to do what you do so well. Can you take a moment and talk about some of the tools you recommend for the good people listening to consider employing as their grant prospecting and even grants management tools? What is in your tech stack?
Absolutely. So my number one tech tool is Instrumental. It's our all-in-one grant research and management platform, so that you can find good fit funders, and most of the time under 60 minutes. It saves our firm about 2 or 3 hours every week, because when I tell you, Kia, everything is in one place. Not only the RFPs, but funder information, the 990s. They even have an algorithm that tells you how much, or a suggested ask that you should approach a funder with. It's all in this one space. And I've actually partnered with them to bring you a freebie today for you and the good people in the room.
Yes.
Super excited to gift you all 2 weeks of complimentary access. And if you sign up for a subscription, you'll even get a $50 credit off your first month. So I want you all to check the show notes. We've dropped a link in there for your exclusive freebies. And also, as a bonus, this is a secret, I didn't tell Kia this, we've included a grant readiness checklist. So earlier we talked about having this checklist. If you want to just save some time and want to take a look, that's going to be included as well. Okay, so make sure y'all check out the show notes at smpnpc.com/exclusive freebies. That'll be in Kia's notes for you all to click and share your information with us. We'll deliver it to you. So that you have access to Instrumental. Alongside that, some of our day-to-day tools that we just absolutely love using with Instrumental is Google Suites. So your docs, Google Docs, Sheets, and slides for like our decks, along with Canva. And I would say Asana is a lifesaver. I used to be like a solopreneur where I would keep everything in a calendar, but the more my team grew, we have a small, mighty team of 4, including my 20-year-old niece who does our social media. All of us are on Asana to manage not only client delivery, but internal company operations, marketing, and things like that. So those are just a few of my favorites. I love automations because sometimes my human brain just tends to forget things, but the automations help us be more efficient and serve folks better without stress or overwhelm.
Yes, I love that. Good people, you got some good tools there and some free. And I didn't know about the cherry on top. Being the grant readiness inventory that you so generously gifted. She's bearing gifts, y'all, and that Instrumental trial will be very, very beneficial. Good people, I'm gonna use mine. I hope you use yours. I'm gonna use mine. So thank you.
And you're welcome. You're welcome. And unlike other trials where you may lose access to the deliverables that you created while you were in that free trial phase, you actually get to download the report and keep that list of grants. So if you find 50 grants in those 2 weeks, you can keep them and use that as your grants calendar. So make sure y'all download that. We would definitely love to hear back on some of the opportunities that you found. So I'm sure we'll put some social media links on here. Let me and Kia know how this time in the freebies has transformed your grants operations. We would love to hear from you.
Yes, we would. Yes, we would. So you are too kind, good people listening. We love gifts on the Black Fundraisers Podcast. And she came bearing them. 'Tis the season. 'Tis the season. Thank you. So we have arrived at the segment of the show that I call For the Culture, where we get into a little rap, a little hip hop to pay homage to Black culture. And for those good people listening who may not know, well, why is Kia talking about rap and hip hop on a fundraising podcast?
All right,
I'm happy to explain. The reason I think it's important to do this, number one, is because I am a huge fan of rap and hip hop music. I'm unabashed about it.
Come on.
And while they are very mainstream now, we got rap music and the Migos on kitty litter commercials and Cheerios commercials. I remember when it wasn't always the case, and there was a great deal of anti-Blackness perpetrated on this art form. I remember those days. I'm glad those days are over, you know, for most people. And I know there's still some anti-Blackness that this art form receives, but arguably it's more mainstream. So we do this as an ode to Black culture, to all things Black. And I got a little game I want to play with you, Shelia.
Okay.
People listening. We're going to play a game called Name That Tune.
Okay.
So here's what you got to do. I want you to recite some rap lyrics. If you want to rap them or you just want to read them, a few bars from your favorite rap or hip hop song that motivates and inspires Shelia, and I'm going to name that song.
Okay. Ooh, I'm gonna
name that song.
I'm going to try and rap it. Y'all don't judge me.
Listen, this is a judgment-free zone.
Okay, so this is a fairly recent song from a very popular rapper.
Yeah, I hope I know it.
You know him. Okay, and I'm gonna give you a bar. Okay.
Okay.
This out. He starts out with, "What's wrong with you? I sit in the box where the owners do. A boss is a role I've grown into. I love you to death, but I told you the truth." You know that one?
It sounds like Jigga. That's not Jigga?
It's not Jigga. It's someone, I don't want to put them on the same wavelength, but he's inspired by Jigga.
I ain't gonna be able to name this tune now. And it's probably something I'd like. You say this is new now. Y'all know I'm a golden era hip. Look, I ain't finna get upstaged on the Black Fundraiser. No, I'm kidding. Okay, one more time.
He said, "What's wrong with you? I sit in the box where the owners do. A boss is a role I've grown into. I love you to death, but I told you the truth." And if you listen to that cadence, it kind of gives you an insight to how the beat goes.
It's giving Yeezy, or it's giving. Okay, I don't think I'm naming this tune. So come through. What's this tune?
It's "What's Next" by Drake. It's "What's Next" by Drake. And
"What's Next" by Drake. Okay.
I am a Drake fan all the way.
Listen, I love it. Now, I done kind of fell off. I like when the brother first came out, and I think I followed him all the way up until the Take Care album.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so this one is way past Take Care. I think this is maybe his third or fourth after Take Care. Maybe.
Yeah, I got lost in the shuffle after that. You know, my sister got a little lost in the shuffle. But no, I'm a fan of the older Drake, I think. Well, I do like that a couple of the things that he came out with most recently, even though Laugh Now, Cry Later is still a couple of years old, you know, but I still listen. Where they knew that when they say they do it, all this and all that. That's my song. I love that. I still like that with Lil Durk.
Yeah, God's Plan, all of that.
What?
Come on.
God's Plan.
Because I can do it. As soon as I hear that tune, you just go into this space of like you forget who's around you. Drake is just one of those people, and I think you'll like What's Next because it's a hopping beat. It don't
Okay.
matter if you at the gym or you get ready. I listen to Drake before my client calls.
Hey.
Like, let me just let me just be honest and transparent. And for this particular bar that I shared, it hit me because he said a boss is a role I've grown into. And it just
Yes.
thing. Like, I went from an intern to now I'm a CEO of my own company. Like, that's
Yes. You
growth.
better come on.
That's growth. I said, Drake knows my life. He sees me.
Yes, he sees you. And not only that, what I'm hearing is that you activate. You know how they say, Holy Ghost,
The
activate.
Holy Ghost
You know,
activate.
Holy, you like boss,
Come on.
activate.
I believe God speaks through many different mediums. Okay. He's created us all. And when I heard that, I was like, that's my word for 2022. Whenever I feel like I don't know what I'm doing, which happens more often than I would like to admit, it's a role that you grow into. You don't start in this as a boss. You grow into it. You got
But
the
even
call, but you grow into it.
But even when you don't know, it's
Yeah.
still a certain gravitas, it's still a certain composure
Yeah.
that a boss has. You
Yeah.
can't just fall apart at the seams because you don't know what's getting ready to, So, no, you're right. And I'm with you. I believe that, the Lord can use and speak through anybody, because when that brother came with God's plan, I'm a moving God, don't start no trouble with me. Hey,
We'll go there.
listen, he was testifying in that song.
Yes.
I don't care what nobody said.
Yes, he was. And the
He
video,
said,
just to see that.
Yes,
How
he was testifying. He was testifying.
Yes.
Yes. So I'm with it. Well, I have had a ball. Look,
Me
good people. The
too.
sister had a couple of lighting issues, but I just had to take a pause for the cause. And I told Shelia, I said, listen, there's some iniquity going on right here. And, it's not going to prosper because I'm going to get lighting right. And we're going to get this information out to the good people listening. So we had a ball, and we hope you did too. Any parting words? Tell the good people listening where to find you, how to connect with you.
I just want to say thank you, Kia, again. I am so grateful for the work that you're doing and the platform that you have built. You have no idea how many lives you are touching just so that Black fundraisers can be seen. Like, I wish this podcast was around when I started 10 years ago. I would have learned some things quickly and not bumped my head as much, but I'm grateful that you are on the journey now and that you trust me enough to come and speak to your community. It just shows that you're an awesome steward and a great leader in this space, and I'm looking forward to connecting again. And for our good people in the room, if something resonated with you, please reach out to me on social media. You can find me on your favorite platform of choice. I'm on LinkedIn, Shelia Phillips, NPH Chess, or you can put in the Grant Writing Coach. Facebook, I have an actual Facebook group. It's called Winning Grants for Your Nonprofit with Shelia Phillips. And then on Instagram, it's just at the Grant Writing Coach. So WRITING Coach. So all of this across is a pretty long name, so you can find me there. And what I want to leave you all with, and this is a word for grants and just for life, that every loss is not necessarily a loss. Once we get through the sting of it all, we always have an opportunity to change our perspective and shift it to something more positive, for an opportunity for learning and further development. Keep doing the work, keep being boots on the ground. We see you. Trust me, the funders see you, whether that's a grant maker or individual or your board. And folks they fund movement. And as long as you are doing what you need to do and being boots on the ground, the resources will come. Okay. So keep doing what you're doing. And I'm positive that the resources will come. I look forward to hearing from y'all and just your testimonies from today.
Yes, move those feet. Keep moving those feet, y'all.
Keep moving forward.
Those feet. That's right. I appreciate you, sister, and look forward to doing so many more wonderful things with you. And I'm very proud of what you have done with your firm. I'm proud of your faith walk. Okay, it has been an inspiration to me. You didn't even know that. It has been an inspiration to me. So I thank you, sister, for sharing your time with me today, and the good people listening. And good people listening, I hope you enjoyed this chat. And I say this all the time. You can just buckle up and see what we've got in store for you next. You just buckle up and see what we got in store for you next. And until next week, stay tuned, stay down, And keep your head up, good people.
Your head up.